Hi, this is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. As you saw, we're making our little Boozy box. This is the Boozy box that we're going to make, and I'm starting out with a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock, and this is 11 inches by 7 3/4. And then my decorative pieces, I've got some Whisper White cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 3. And this is 4 by 2 7/8. This is the Tropical Escape Designer Series paper. I don't have any of the new Valentine's Day stuff yet because I feel bad I haven't used last year's. It's sneaking up on me fast. Okay, and the second piece here of Whisper White is 4 1/8 by 2 7/8, or 1 7/8. 4 1/8 by 1 7/8. So this is 4 inches by 1 3/4. Then I'm going to bring in our scoring pal. And now I got this from Pink Buckaroo, and she did it with she still had some of the leftover vials that Stampin' Up had, I think last holiday catalog, and I didn't have those, so I had to go to the store and buy new ones. So I checked Michael's and I found this whole box of them for like 14 bucks, and then used my 40% off coupon. So I was able to make quite a few out of this. I don't know if you can see what they're called, but they were in the beads department for jewelry. I guess you would put beads in them if you were using them for a different purpose. So for this, I'm making it to fit those vials. If you have the smaller ones, you might want to check Pink Buckaroo and see what her measurements were, because it was a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure this, or score this, at 1/2 inch, 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and then 6 inches. And then I'm going to rotate it, and on the short side I'm going to score this at 1 3/4 and then 6. So that's our base of the box. And then I'm going to come in with a pair of paper snips, and I'm going to just snip a little bit down here on the 1/2 inch side. I'm just going to put a little bit of an angle there, and then I'm going to cut down to the score line here on both sides. So that's going to be the little piece that I tuck in making my box. Then I'm going to just cut along these score lines up into the score line, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going to reinforce the score lines with a bone folder to make sure that they are good and sharp. This just makes it go together so much easier. And then to start it off, I'm going to want to take this tall backside and fold in just those flaps. That's what we're starting with. So that's all you have to know right now, is that we're going to take and fold up these and adhere them to the inside. And I'm going to do that with tear-in tape because it's just so much more secure. So I'm just going to put some tear-in tape on these first little flaps. Grab hold of these covers. And then we're just going to fold this up. And I kind of stand it this way because I want to make sure that it sits perpendicular, you know, so it's level when I go to measure it. Oh, and we're going to need to put our holes up here. I did the holes for the test tubes and the little bottle with punches, and I punched them ahead of time and then kind of just arrange them where I need them to be. So while they're just these little circles, you know, I can move them around and put them where I want them. And then once I've decided that they're all in good spots, then I'm going to come in and just adhere them with a little bit of nail. And it won't matter that they stick because we're going to punch them right out. So I'm just kind of centering this one there, and then the two on the sides. See, and this is why I'm doing the sample circles, because you can kind of move it around and decide that you've got it exactly where you want it. And then I come in with the punches themselves and punch right over those. So it allows me to slide it in and pop that right out. And see, this one doesn't fit, so what I'm going to do is just cut this down a little. So that I can fit that in. And there's my 3 holes. Okay, so back to this. Then I'm going to want to fold this inside. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take some tear and tape. Oh, wedding favors. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, they might be in the wedding favor department. And again, I'm doing it this way because I want to make sure that it sits flat and level. Oh, you know. Okay. And you could have those last ones I did. I think she wrapped them around the outside. You could do that too. Then as I push this down inside, I have some tear and tape on that little fold flap. There we go. So there's the box itself. And I'm going to put this up on my blog, so you will have, you know, written directions with all the measurements and everything. And then I'm just going to, before putting the bottles in, I'm going to go ahead and adhere the decorative pieces. Hi, and don't forget to comment and share and all of that, because I'm going to give away a prize, and I will post on my Facebook page. I still need to draw for last week's, but I will be sending out a prize. I'm just going to like number everybody by when they came in and shared and commented, and then use random.org to just pull a number, and I'll get that mailed out tomorrow. So each week, if you comment, share, like the video, you know, give me some feedback on it, then you get a chance at a prize. And being Sale-a-bration, you actually have a guaranteed prize if you go ahead and place an order, because during Sale-a-bration, for every $50 increment of stuff that you order, you get a freebie. So, and then if you have a super long wish list, they have a fantastic deal on our kit, which you can do as a, they call it a kit napper, where you just buy the kit and never do anything again just for the discount. Or you can keep your discount for up to 7 months and just be what they call a hobby demo. Or if you wanted to make a business out of it, I can help you with that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this ribbon around here. And what I did last time is I just stuck a little bit of adhesive on the side just so that the ribbon would kind of stay put while I messed with the bow. So I think I'm going to do that again. That came in very handy. And of course you would, you know, wiggle it around and get it to do what you wanted it to do and trim off the flags. And then I've got just some little decorative things. I don't know if I want to put that back there or down here. I think maybe down here. So I hope you decide to give this little project a try. And if you do, I'd love to see the designs you come up with. It's so fun to watch how people will take the same thing, you know, the same instructions, the same materials, and just like flip it into something totally different. So there's that. And then we would just put the Baileys in the middle. And then the little test tubes with the hot chocolate and the marshmallows on the side. If you're wondering what I used for the little marshmallows, it was these jet puffed mallow bits. I mean, and I was searching tiny marshmallows, and I just kept getting the mini marshmallows, which obviously wouldn't fit in the test tubes. So I ended up finding those at Walmart next to all the hot chocolate mixes. Give it a try. Oh, another thing I did, if you wanted to, is you can take and, oops, trim this down the side. And you could measure this with a ruler if you wanted to, but I just kind of popped it in there. In the hot chocolate mix, I just used a packet of, you know, Swiss Miss. Another thing you can do similar to that is I was playing around with it, and I did it in the butterfly because I was trying to use this designer series paper that's available in the Sale-a-bration brochure. It's one of the things you can earn for free. And I thought, well, that's really cute. I will use that to make my little Boozy box, but it doesn't look very Valentine's-y. It kind of looks spring, and I don't really, I mean, who drinks hot chocolate in the spring? I mean, it's not as much as you would in the winter. So I thought, well, you know, what else can I do with this box? And one of the things you can do is you can put your liquid glue in the top. Now it doesn't quite fit into the 3/4 inch hole, and the 1 3/8, it's kind of big. I mean, it holds it, but it's kind of big. So when I was playing around with it, I decided I would use the little the smallest scallop circle out of the layering circles. And you can do that either with the back like that, or you can do it just without the back. And I have the measurements for this one as well, if you wanted to play with that. So I'm going to come back in with the scoreboard again. So this one is 8.5 by 7 3/4. And so on the 8.5 side, I'm going to score this at the 1/2 inch. and then 2.5, 4.5, 6.5. Oop. And then I'm going to rotate it this way and score it at 1.5 and 6 1/4. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to create this little flap at the end. And then cut down these little score lines to the longer score line. And then I'm going to reinforce them with the bone folder. And I'll make a post for this too, again with the measurements, and I'll decorate it up and show you guys how cute it could be. It could be a little desk accessory, because I want to get the most out of my money. When I buy Stampin' Up! Supplies, I want them to last as long as possible. And one of the things is that the glue, I always use the small end of the liquid glue. And if I have it just laying on its side, sometimes it doesn't all flow to the tip. So I find if I store them this way, you know, in a shot glass, sometimes I've done it in a stack of washi tape, and now I've got the little box that I'm going to decorate. And then I'm going to take and just round these corners. I saw somebody make this one. It was a European demo. I can't remember who it was, but she had rounded the corners, which, you know, you could do on the Boozy box too, so that on the outside, when you closed them, it looked, I don't know, a little more finished. So I'm just going around and rounding all these little corners real quick. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the tear and tape up here. And then we would run it through the Big Shot. Now it's going to be a little bit too wide for the Big Shot, and so the way I cut my holes was I folded over one side and left this out. And then I could cut my circle on this side, and then when I was getting, and almost to the middle, because it does do the middle. So then I could get one side in the middle, and then when I went over to do the other side, I went this way and did this one. Now, if you have the 1 1/4 punch, that's probably going to be the perfect size to do these little holes that will hold the right size for the liquid glue. But then again, you just roll it up like you would, you know, a box, and tuck the inside in, and then glue it up. There we go. So again, if you had the holes in the top, which I'm not going to sit here and go through the Big Shot, but you would either Big Shot it with the smallest scalloped circle out of the layering ovals, or a 1 1/4 inch punch. And you would just punch the 3 holes, and then you have something to hold your glue. To decorate the front, you would just take the measurements and reduce by 1/4 inch. So this is 4 3/4, so it would be 4 1/2. And this is 2, so 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 by 4 1/2 would give you something that would fit right in there. If you want the smaller borders, like I did here with the 1/8 inch, then you would do, let's see, 4 5/8 by 1 7/8. And you could just decorate it up with whatever designer series paper is going to match your office. So I hope you found that helpful. Don't forget to like this video on YouTube. I'm going to put it up there, so if you're watching on YouTube, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you back on Facebook. Thanks. Bye.